What are your thoughts on polyamory? It's okay in my book as long as all members are comfortable with it. I don't know if my distaste of it is based on some vestigial religious moral concept, or just prejudice toward the individuals I've experienced on the internet. I couldn't do it, but to each their own. I think it's a great thing if everyone is on board and communicates effectively about boundaries, feelings, etc. I can't do it because I barely have enough energy to have friends and one girlfriend. But power to anyone who can handle that much social energy. I'm down. Weird. But to each their own. Polyamory is wrong. It's either multiamory or polyphilia. Mixing Greek and Latin roots is terrible. In theory, people ought to be free to organize their lives and relationships however they like, consensually. In practice, I've never known a poly relationship that wasn't horribly abusive in one way or another. So, I don't know. Just don't be a dick. Get consent. And be happy. I am polyamorous, so I think it's cool. From what I've seen, it never ends well. There is always at least one person who ends up getting hurt. To each their own. No judgment. I'm not interested. Go for it if you want to. Never seen a happy poly relationship where someone wasn't getting shafted big time. Somehow. And dating many people doesn't somehow translate into more people who care about you. It feels very bleak. My friend is in a poly relationship. She's a single mom. Her house got broken into when she was there. Luckily no one was hurt. When she told us friends, we all rushed there to help. Her poly partners, she had 3, all didn't show up. They were all with their other partners apparently. Another friend is a poly guy with what can only be described as a harem. However, his main girlfriend hooked up with some older drug dealer guy and she went with him to a destination orgy in Hawaii for her birthday and left my friend at home to take care of their sick dog. All of it seems so cold and unkind. Seems almost like fundamentalist Mormon-style polygamy is much more caring lol. I think people both criticize and underplay it at the same time. It's really difficult. And a complex situation. Even with including partners for just sexual acts together can be a lot. A lot of self-esteem. And confidence from all involved is important. It's not for everybody. In my experiences in similar situations, I've had a lot of issues emotionally. Edit. I am M. We had MMF stuff. It was actually nice. I found out I was bi. At least sexually. But with girl and girl I actually found myself more jealous as the one involved was a close friend to my partner. The man was a stranger. So, it can be confusing. It's not for everyone. It's not for me. And must understand I don't understand how they make it work without hurting each other. But ultimately it's none of my business. And as long as everyone is happy and it works for them, who am I to judge? Feels like friends with benefits with a fancy name. Relationships are already too much work for most people. Can't imagine dating a whole group of men and women. I don't like it at all. My best friend's partner just came out and said she wants to be poly, so my friend is going with it. She says she's okay with it, but they're in couples therapy to work through it, so I don't get just how okay she actually is with it. Their reasoning is that one person can't fulfill all of your needs. And I agree. But that's why you have friends. The only thing you would need from another relationship that you're not getting from your partner is sex. And if you're not having the right sexual connection with your partner, then why are you with them in the first place? I hate it. But I'm not going to interfere in someone, a friend, if they were part of it. I currently don't know anyone who's in that sort of relationship, but I guess I'd just politely avoid or keep a distance from them. Edit. Thank you, kind stranger, for the duck baby chick. I am skeptical somewhat of polyamory. In a way, I think it is kind of commodifying women in a sense. That isn't to say that men are evil and that men shouldn't at all be trusted. But I think that polyamory is not doing women any favors. Polyamorists say quite frequently that monogamy isn't natural. And yes, they are correct in that statement. But there is something more crucial to that point. Polygamy is very natural. Human beings have been polygamous for hundreds of thousands of years, and it was only until agriculture started did things like sedentism and monogamy start sprouting about. Polygamous societies are exceptionally dangerous and lethal for both men and women. Women in polygamist societies are property and generally hogged by wealthier men of higher status. And with less women to go around, men in these societies become more warlike and very, very dangerous. Polygamist societies even today, and even hunter-gatherer societies, have very high rates of violence and murder. Now I understand that polyamory is nothing at all like polygamy, but I cannot help but see some similarities between the two of them that would be dangerous for women. Passion and love are confused sometimes between each other. And I think that polyamory is very much a hedonistic issue. Hedonism is not something that will lead to happiness. And I think there are many polyamorists who in a sanctimonious way try and make a person like me feel guilty about loving only one person and giving my love to one person and expecting my partner just to love me and only me. And that by expecting that from my partner and vice versa is selfish. And that opinion isn't something I can agree with. I think that it is the opposite. It is selfish in a lot of ways to pursue pleasure passionately and form intimate relationships with more than one other person, and selfish to consider someone monogamous for not agreeing or wanting to do the same and labeling them as selfish. When I look at polyamory, I see men who are taking up the polyamory label in order to casually date multiple women with little consequence. I am skeptical as to whether the love and trust that can be shared between two people can actually and truly be shared between more than one other person. Men are competitive enough as it is, and I can only imagine that when an open relationship is in the works, it must be at least concerning that there is another man or woman who is really working so hard to steal a primary partner away. I mean, when I am having a rough spot with my girlfriend and turn to friends for advice, I assume she is doing the same thing. But I think it is quite unfair that if the both of us were polyamorous, that it would be unfair to turn to a sexual intimate partner for advice. Because that is something completely different. Me turning to some other girl and my girlfriend turning to another man would, I would imagine, he very conflictive. Of course, another female I'm in sexual relations with and a man my girlfriend having sexual relations with are going to choose sides immediately. I understand that friends can do the same thing, but when sex and other physically intimate partners are brought into the fold, it will just really complicate things even more and might make them worse. I understand that polyamorous people emphasize communication and monogamy people would be wise to do a lot more of that, but putting all of that to the side, it is worth remembering that people are people. No group is more honest than the other. The people of the monogamy crowd aren't any better or more moral than those in the polyamorous crowd. But I think it's worth asking whether or not a person should even be having an open relationship or not. Attention, care and love cannot be guaranteed to be equally shared. Even parents who say that they love their children equally, you find that that isn't entirely the truth. There isn't enough data to show enough about polyamory. I'm skeptical of anyone claiming that polyamory would be healthier than monogamy. But in my opinion, I see polyamory as something that invites more bad behavior. Polyamory should never be a solution to unfaithfulness. But I doubt that polyamory would be at all accepted by society. I believe that the bad behavior polyamory is inviting is its openness and pursuit of pleasure. And those facets of polyamory are great for many, but for the long haul, no. To me, it's almost like an information overload. The bad behavior that could definitely arise is the same as other relationships, only this time there are multiple people rather than one other person. I think that men will see polyamory as an opportunity, like I said before, to casually date women. I think that cheating will go on just as much as in a monogamy culture. But men dating several women, I think, can bring out a lot of toxic masculinity. Because having a multitude of women involved with you in sexual relationships is somewhat an egotistical goal of a lot of unhealthy and pathological men. I think that women won't be listened to or acknowledged enough since her male partner has several other women. It's a pessimistic opinion and feeling, but given our history as a society and our human nature, I cannot see that much optimistic outcomes from all of this.